You are 5 slides into a presentation you spent all week building, and the C4 cuts you off. So what is the actual number? Your stomach drops because you are going to get there, eventually, on slide 12. I've been in that room presenting to people who don't care how you got that number. They just want to know what it means for them right now. I'm Karina. I have built dashboards and reports for 12 years that clients actually use. Today we are going through things that turn a data presentation from something people yawn at into something that gets you promoted. Lead with a headline, not the description. Watch this. Here is a chart titled Q3 Sales. Look at it for 2 seconds. What is the point of it? You don't know yet, you have to actually study it. Now, here is the exact same chart with one sentence sitting above it. Sales dropped 30% in Q3 driven by the Asia region. 2 seconds. Now you know the point before you have even looked at the graph properly. That's the whole trick. And it's got a name. The book Storytelling with Data calls it an action title. By the way, highly recommend reading this book. The chart title stays simple. It's just there to orient you. The sentence above it is the one doing the actual work. It states the point, not the topic. I once drafted a headline for a telecom performance summary, something like monthly active users remained stable while average usage per user increased 7%. It was accurate, also completely hiding the real story. My boss read it and said that headline needed to focus on the fact that user outflows were quietly wiping out the inflows. That was the actual issue, not usage slightly going up or down. The number and insight I used made everything look fine. The number that mattered was buried underneath it. So trick 1, read your headline without looking at the chart. If someone couldn't tell you whether the news is good or bad from that sentence alone, it's not a headline just yet. Rewrite it as what happened and why it matters, not what the chart is about, not something like marketing spend March 2026. One more rule, if something is already obvious just from looking at the chart, a spike in March, a dip in December, don't waste your headline restating that. That sentence is the most valuable real estate on the slide. Spend it on the part the chart can't say by itself, why it happened, or what to do next. Repeating what's already visible is pointless. If a pie chart shows that 55% of your users are Android users, don't say it in the summary, let the chart do the job. One test to run on the whole deck. Read only your headlines top to bottom, nothing else. If they read as a story on their own, set up what happened, why it matters, the deck works. It has a natural progression, it has a story. If they just read as a list of topics, you don't have a story yet, you have a table of contents. A strong headline earns you the first few seconds, but a cluttered slide underneath it loses the room right back. Cut everything that isn't carrying the story. Every grid line, tick mark, decimal point, 3D effect, and extra color you leave on a slide is something people have to mentally filter out before they get to your point. This is sometimes called the data to ink ratio. Only keep the ink that's doing the work. Pie charts are very controversial type of charts overall, and a common offender here. They compress everything into one static slice and hide the trend a stakeholder actually needs to see. So use them wisely or don't use them at all. This is also the reason tables can quietly sabotage a presentation. Have you ever noticed that the second you put a table on a screen, people start reading it row by row instead of listening to you, and you see eyes doing this? That's actually human nature. If you need people to see pattern or a trend, use a chart. If you need to use a table, which is very common in finance, you have to use a table. Make sure you are using a heat map or highlighting a row or a specific number you actually want them to pay attention to. So trick number 2, only keep in what's doing the work. Before a slide goes in front of a final audience, cut anything that isn't the number, the trend, or the label needed to read them. Then go one step further. People notice color, size, and bold before they read a single word. So don't just remove clutter, use it. Make everything gray except the one bar, the one number, the one line that actually carries your point. If everything on the slide is the same weight, you haven't told anyone where exactly to look. One more thing worth keeping consistent if possible across the whole deck, not just one slide. If a color means Asia region on slide 3, it needs to mean Asia region region on slide 9 too. Because every time you make someone relearn what a color or a shape means, you have spent a bit of their attention on your formatting instead of your point. What is the most cluttered slide you have ever had to sit through in a meeting? Comment below, I want to hear the worst one. A clean slide gets you through the deck, but the same story lands differently depending on who is in the room. And that's where a lot of analysts get it wrong. If you want a starting point for data and get better with storytelling, I put together a free resource pack. Frameworks, examples, the whole thing. Link is in the description or on the screen. Grab it and come back, because the next part is what actually separates a good presenter from a nervous one. Match detail to the room. The same finding needs 3 different versions depending on who is hearing it. A tech person wants the details. A director or anyone from C-suite wants the meaning. Most people default presentations to the tech version, even when they are standing in front of the director. If you are presenting to a technical teammate, you can say something like, our fraud model recall dropped from 0.9 to 0.7 after last week's retrain. We suspect label leakage got removed that was previously inflating performance. So it's now missing real fraud cases it used to catch. As you can see, very technical and a lot of details. To an executive, you can't present that. It must be translated into something like, our fraud detection is missing significantly more real fraud than it was 2 weeks ago. Turns out the old version looked better than it actually was because of a data mistake. We are rolling back to the previous version today while we are fixing this properly. Same findings, same 3 things: what happened, why, what to do next, completely different language doing the job for each audience. Because the moment you say label leakage or recall drop to someone who didn't ask for a stats lecture, their eyes glaze over and they zone out. They haven't switched off because they are not smart enough. They switched off because it sounds too complicated to be worth following. Translate it into plain language and people will actually listen. And remember, you don't get extra points for knowing more tech terms. That's not some bingo game. So trick number 3, before any stakeholder meeting, ask one question, not about the data, about the room. What decisions are they actually trying to make right now? If you don't know that, you don't know which version of the finding to bring in. 5-minute try. Take one recent finding from your own work and write it 3 ways: technical, in between, and 1 sentence for someone with no time. Let's call it an elevator pitch. Getting the level right earns the attention, but there is one habit that quietly kills trust even when the slide looks great. Say what the number means, not just what it is. Most people believe that if the number is accurate, that's the job done. The audience will connect the dots themselves. You found the real number, you double-checked it, surely that's enough. But it isn't. That belief is exactly why so many technically solid analyses got nodded at politely and then got completely ignored. Here is a pushback. There is a real difference between reporting and translating. And a strong insight isn't just a number plus 1 line of meaning, it actually stacks 4 things: the number, the trend, the driver, and the next step. A weak example is revenue dropped 12% this quarter. That is reporting. And a strong version will look something like this: revenue dropped 12% this quarter, and the decline has actually been accelerating for the past 3 months, entirely concentrated in Asia region, while every other region held steady. Was a quick sync with the regional team there to understand what changed. Same starting number, but now the room knows how bad it actually is, where it's coming from, and what to do about it before they have even asked. That is what actually earns the applause. I make this video so people building their career in data don't have to learn this the hard way. If that's you, please subscribe. Applause doesn't happen because you had the most slides or the most charts. It happens because the room understood the point in the first few seconds, saw a clean story instead of clutter, and heard exactly what the numbers meant for them. Lead with a headline, cut what doesn't carry the story, match the detail to the room. Free resources to build your career in data are linked in the description. And if you want to know the data concepts pro data analysts know that beginners don't, I walk through that click by click in this video. Watch it next.